If you are in your 40s or 50s and you have not yet started saving for retirement, you are not alone. Millions of Americans are in the same situation. According to a 2023 report from the Federal Reserve, nearly 40% of adults aged 40 to 59 have less than $50,000 saved for retirement. This number alone should wake anyone up to the reality that waiting or delaying will have real consequences. Many people assume they have time or that Social Security will cover their needs, but relying solely on government benefits is a risky assumption. Social Security was never designed to replace the income from decades of consistent retirement savings. The maximum monthly Social Security benefit for someone retiring at full retirement age in 2024 is approximately $3,800, but the average is closer to $1,800 per month. For someone accustomed to a middle-class lifestyle or higher, that gap is significant. Even if you start saving at 45, the math is not forgiving. Compound interest can help, but it cannot create miracles in a few short years. A person who invests $10,000 at age 45 in a well-diversified portfolio, averaging 7% annual return, would have around $40,000 by age 65, which is far from enough to sustain retirement without additional income or serious lifestyle adjustments. Many people make the mistake of thinking that they can catch up later by taking on higher-risk investments or speculative opportunities. The reality is that riskier investments may lead to higher returns in theory, but they can also lead to significant losses at a time when you cannot afford them. History shows us that market downturns, recessions, and unexpected economic crises can devastate portfolios, especially for those approaching retirement age. The 2008 financial crisis wiped out trillions of dollars in retirement savings across the country, and those who were close to retirement often had no time to recover from those losses. Therefore, any plan to start late must be grounded in a realistic understanding of risk and reward, and in a diversified strategy that prioritizes protection of capital while still allowing growth. Understanding expenses is another crucial component. Many Americans underestimate how much money they will need during retirement. The Employee Benefit Research Institute reports that retirees spend about 70% to 80% of their pre-retirement income annually. This means that someone earning $75,000 a year before retirement would still need approximately $52,500 to $60,000 each year once they stop working. Housing, healthcare, food, transportation, and unexpected emergencies all factor into these numbers. Healthcare alone can be a massive expense. Medicare does not cover all costs, and supplemental insurance, long-term care, and prescription drugs can easily consume tens of thousands per year. If you have delayed saving, understanding these expenses is critical because it will dictate how much you need to save each month. Even if your goal seems daunting, debt is another silent killer of retirement plans. Americans in their 40s and 50s often carry mortgages, credit card balances, student loans for themselves or children, and auto loans. According to a 2023 report from the Federal Reserve, total consumer debt for households headed by someone aged 45 to 54 reached $175,000 on average. Carrying debt while trying to save for retirement is a compounding problem because interest payments reduce the amount available for investing. Eliminating high-interest debt as quickly as possible should be a top priority before attempting to accelerate retirement savings. This does not mean ignoring retirement entirely, but balancing debt reduction with strategic investing is essential for late starters. For those who are starting late, the reality is that the strategies are different from someone who begins saving at 25. You cannot rely on small contributions over decades. You need to maximize every opportunity, from employer-sponsored retirement accounts like 401ks to IRAs, and in some cases, catch-up contributions that are specifically allowed for those over 50. Another truth that many ignore is that retirement planning is not just financial, it is psychological. Starting late means confronting uncomfortable truths about your past decisions and current limitations. It requires discipline, focus, and a willingness to make sacrifices in lifestyle and consumption today for security tomorrow. This is where so many people fail, not because the numbers are impossible, but because facing reality is uncomfortable. Television, social media, and advertising all push illusions of wealth and success, making it harder for someone who is behind to accept incremental, realistic progress. A disciplined, truth-based approach requires ignoring these illusions and focusing solely on what is actionable, what is real, and what will work for the next 20 years. One of the most powerful tools late starters can use is budgeting with ruthless honesty. Every dollar saved and invested matters exponentially more now than it would have at age 25. This means cutting unnecessary spending, reassessing lifestyle choices, and in many cases, making difficult decisions such as downsizing housing, delaying major purchases, or even changing careers to increase income. The reality is that the earlier you start, the more options you have. But when you start late, every action counts. The good news is that even starting at 45 or 50, meaningful progress is possible. It requires a plan, accountability, and daily focus on actions that will directly increase your retirement security. Another harsh truth is that relying on inheritance, lotteries, or sudden windfalls is a trap. Many late starters fantasize about a sudden opportunity that will erase years of lost savings. Reality consistently proves otherwise. According to data from the U.S. Census Bureau, only a small fraction of households receive large inheritances, and unexpected financial windfalls are statistically rare. A retirement plan must be built on reliable, repeatable actions, not hope. This is why Michael H. Carter's approach, and the philosophy behind this channel, focuses entirely on real strategies, grounded in data and historical facts, not on motivational promises that rarely deliver. Finally, for the first block of this video, it is critical to understand that late starters face a compressed timeline. Unlike someone who started in their 20s, you have less time to recover from mistakes, market downturns, or unexpected expenses. Every decision matters more. Every contribution, every investment choice, every dollar saved compounds exponentially in importance. The goal of this channel is not to sugarcoat these realities, but to present them clearly with actionable steps so that you, the viewer, can face the situation honestly, assess your options realistically, and begin building a plan that truly works for someone starting late in America today. The facts are simple. Few Americans are adequately prepared, many are behind, but disciplined action, clear understanding, and realistic planning can still create a meaningful, secure retirement. Now that you understand the stark reality of starting late, the next step is creating a plan that actually works. The first principle is to accept your situation fully. Denial will only delay action, and delay is costly. You cannot change the past, but you can control what you do today. Start by calculating exactly how much you need to retire at your desired standard of living. Use realistic numbers, not aspirational ones. Include housing, healthcare, food, transportation, taxes, and unexpected expenses. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, healthcare alone can consume over 15% of your retirement income, and that percentage increases with age. Once you have a clear picture, you know the target you are aiming for, and you can work backward to determine how much you need to save each month. This step is essential because vague goals lead to vague actions, and vagueness is the enemy of late starters. Next, maximize every tax-advantaged retirement account available to you. If you are employed, contribute to your 401k or similar employer-sponsored plans, and take full advantage of any company match. Many people leave thousands of dollars on the table by failing to contribute enough to receive the full match, which is essentially free money. For those over 50, catch-up contributions are a critical tool. For example, in 2024, you can add an extra $7,500 annually to a 401k, and an extra $1,000 to an IRA. These contributions may seem small compared to the gap you need to close, but they significantly accelerate growth due to compound interest, especially when combined with consistent contributions over the remaining years before retirement. If your employer does not offer a 401k, or if you are self-employed, consider SEP IRAs or solo 401ks, which allow for higher contribution limits. After securing retirement accounts, focus on paying down high-interest debt as quickly as possible. Credit card debt, personal loans, and even high-interest car loans reduce the money you can invest. Eliminating these obligations not only increases your monthly cash flow but also reduces stress and financial risk. Create a realistic budget that identifies all discretionary spending and systematically reduces or eliminates unnecessary expenses. Many Americans in their 40s and 50s spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars monthly on things that do not contribute to financial security. Redirect that money toward retirement investments. Every dollar counts, and late starters must be ruthlessly efficient with available resources. Investing strategy is the next critical piece. Diversification is your friend. You cannot afford to take unnecessary risks at this stage in life. Balanced portfolios that include a mix of stocks, bonds, and potentially real estate provide growth potential while reducing vulnerability to market swings. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned an average of 7 to 8% per year after inflation. This historical return demonstrates that consistent investment in a diversified portfolio can generate meaningful growth. But it also highlights the danger of speculative investments, especially for late starters. Avoid get-rich-quick schemes and focus on long-term sustainable growth. An additional reality is that income must sometimes increase to bridge the gap. This may involve taking on side work, asking for a raise, switching careers, or even delaying retirement slightly. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, people who continue working into their 60s and early 70s have significantly higher retirement savings than those who retire earlier. Delaying retirement by even 5 years can have a massive impact due to additional savings, contributions, and continued investment growth. The choice may not be comfortable, but comfort must be secondary to financial security if you are starting late. Healthcare planning cannot be overlooked. As mentioned earlier, Medicare does not cover everything, and long-term care, insurance, or savings for medical emergencies is essential. Ignoring healthcare costs is one of the most common mistakes late starters make. Unexpected medical bills can derail retirement plans entirely. Start evaluating your options now. understanding Medicare plans, supplemental insurance, and health savings accounts. The data from the Kaiser Family Foundation indicates that healthcare costs for retirees are rising faster than general inflation, and failing to plan for this expense is a critical oversight. Mindset plays a significant role. Late starters often feel overwhelmed, guilty, or regretful. Accept these feelings, but do not let them paralyze action. Focus on what you can control, not what you cannot. Discipline, consistency, and realistic expectations are far more valuable than attempting dramatic leaps. Track progress monthly, celebrate incremental victories, and adjust the plan when necessary. But never abandon the principles of saving, investing, and planning strategically. Finally, consider professional guidance. Financial advisors can provide personalized strategies, especially when your timeline is compressed. Look for fiduciary advisors who are required to put your interests first, not sales-driven representatives who profit from pushing products. The cost of professional advice is often far less than the potential cost of mistakes, particularly when time is limited. Verified, data-driven advice can help you avoid common pitfalls and stay on track with a clear plan, reinforcing the truths this channel promotes. No illusions, no hype, only actionable reality. In conclusion, and this is critical, even if you start at 45, 50, or beyond, a meaningful, secure retirement is possible, but it requires brutal honesty, disciplined action, and commitment to the steps outlined here. Every day matters, every decision matters, and every dollar counts. The good news is that by facing reality head-on, creating a practical strategy, and committing to consistent action, you can achieve a level of financial security that allows you to retire with dignity, independence, and confidence. Starting late is not ideal, but reality-based planning makes it entirely possible. The sooner you take action, the more powerful the effect of compound interest, the more options you maintain, and the less regret you will have in the future.